what's your input on the bail bonds?
Okay.
What's going to happen?
So what this is it's called the Supplemental Levy, and what the Supplemental Levy is it provides what we're asking voters to vote on is it's going to provide additional money for the school district as a whole, and it's a lot of money. It's $3.19 million for 2 years.
Wow.
So what that will do, about 5 years ago, the state started cutting money to schools, and this money will help fill in that gap that the state has not been able to provide to us. So over the last 5 years, and you'll see that on the website article too, there's a chart that shows this. We've lost about a little over $9 million in the last 5 years. And so what that has meant, you guys are probably feeling it a little bit. Your class sizes are pretty high within your classes. We haven't been able to hire as many teachers. But 2 years ago, in 2012, in August of 2012, our voters, so anybody within the Kuna school district, voted yes for the same levy, a $3.19 million levy. And what that is it's a tax levy, a property tax levy. And that helped us add back some of the teachers that we have now. If we didn't have that the last 2 years, your class sizes would probably be even higher. So that's what it's for, is to really for teachers. It's for classroom supplies for schools.
So we're basically trying to even out the teachers with the students.
Yes, that's a really good way to summarize it. Yeah, that's the primary focus. So for students to have that, and it's been about 3 years ago we had to implement student fees. So students had to pay extra money to participate in sports and extracurricular activities like band, music. Because it's expensive to run those programs and we didn't have enough money. So the levy helps pay for those things too, so we don't have to charge students fees to participate. That's like, for me personally, that's I hated it the most, because I worried that students weren't able to participate because it costs a lot to play. So,
well, you're talking about what if that would happen now. What if the people didn't then voted no?
Okay.
Would that be like one teacher for 50 students?
I don't know if it'd be 1 to 50, but it would be probably more like 40, 35 in elementary, 40-ish.
That's a lot of kids.
That's a lot, especially in first grade. Remember when you guys are in first grade and you're learning to read and you're trying to learn a lot of things, the basics, the foundations. It's a lot. So definitely we would have higher class sizes. We would probably implement fees. We may review some of the programs that we have and potentially reduce them, change schedules at our high school and middle school potentially, which means you lose some of your programs potentially. What we did 3 years ago or 5 years ago is we put a committee together. Students served on that when our budgets were initially cut. And they helped us decide.
Trying to get money and stuff like that.
Yeah, like what can we do and what should we do?
Food drives and...
Oh yeah, we did all sorts of stuff. Yeah. But we're hoping that we won't have to ask for a levy after this next 2 years, that the state will start to add back the funds that we've lost.
How much money will the citizens of Kuna pay after this one? Because allegedly for Mr. Murphy, he says that he had to pay about $10 a year. How much will that increase?
Well, for the average homeowner, you kind of look at increments of 100,000. Okay, so some homes are worth less than 100,000. Some are worth more than 100,000. So the tax rate on about $100,000 is, depending on what your house is, it's around $600 a year to pay for that levy for 2 years. So the nice thing about this levy is 2 years ago in 2012 it was passed, so this would just be an extension of the same levy for another 2 years, so homeowners wouldn't see an increase to their taxes. They would see basically the same amount to their taxes. It possibly would go, their property taxes for schools could possibly go down even a little bit more as more homeowners come into the area.
So basically we're just twisting all the taxes for different reasons, like we need more so we're going to put the taxes higher, but the people don't want it, so we're gonna put it a little lower. And
Yep. So if this doesn't pass, if the levy doesn't pass,
The bad
then
things
taxes
will
will go down. Property taxes will go down, but bad things will happen to the schools. It'll be a struggle for schools and
Well,
for students.
according to the United States, Idaho isn't pretty far up on the smartest of children in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
So, do you think this could increase more graduating students in Idaho, or?
We, as far as Idaho goes, as far as graduating students as a whole, we do a pretty good job compared to other states graduating students from high school. But our students who graduate don't really go on to college, and that's where we are really on the bottom of all the states in the nation. So, yeah, I think anytime we take away money from students, from schools, it makes it harder for students to be successful because we're not able to respond to the needs that kids have because everybody's need is a little bit different. The other worry that I have about a no vote, and I'll just throw this out here, is Mr. Murphy's a pretty cool teacher, and we were lucky to get him.
And he might be fired.
He could lose his job, or he may say, I can't work for the pay that you're going to be
Also,
able to pay
not
me.
only the taxes, but the pay for the teachers
Yep.
changes too.
Yeah, so if there's a no vote, then we would probably reduce days with students, which reduces pay for
Well,
our
if this
teachers.
I know that teachers don't get paid that much.
Yeah.
But what if it passes? How much will they be getting?
I would predict that we would keep people kind of where they are, so they wouldn't take a reduction in their pay, but there probably wouldn't be that much of an increase to their pay because really this is just filling a little bit of the hole.
The
It's
gap.
not, yeah, the gap in funding. That's a good way of putting it. It's not increasing our funding.
And just keeping it more so it doesn't drop.
Yep, so it doesn't drop. Yep, so we keep the programs, we keep our pay, we keep our resources kind of where they are now, which isn't great, as you guys know, right?
Yeah.
But it could be a lot worse without it.
It just basically keeps us afloat from
Keeps
sinking.
you afloat. That is exactly a good way to say it. Yep, it keeps us floating where we are. No big improvements.
Well, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions. What is your name?
My name is Wendy Johnson.
Could you spell that, please?
Yep, Johnsson is my last name, and then Wendy is Wendy, and I'm the superintendent of the district.
Nice to meet you, Wendy.
Thank you.
So glad